Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you all had a wonderful holiday season and a happy new year. Welcome back to the White Collar Players Immersive Mod series. Our 7th episode in this series introduces new outfit styles to the Commonwealth that will have you running for your nearest tailor. Truly an exciting show we have for you all today, so let's not delay any further. Armorsmith Extended-Gambit77 extensively overhauls the way Fallout 4 handles armor and clothing. Without adding any new items at all, this mod creates limitless outfitting potential by adjusting apparel slots for both the sole survivor and some of his companions. Although the mod author did add some craftable items, which really rounds out the mod's functionality. The Nexus page gives an excellent description of what the mod achieves, and it is certainly worth reading. However, allow us to give you a brief rundown of the 8 most noticeable changes from the vanilla game. 1. Every vanilla outfit can now be worn underneath armor pieces, such as combat armor items, which show up when you equip them. 2. Every hat and helmet that does not cover your face can now be worn with bandanas and gas masks. 3. Every helmet, hat, and outfit can have ballistic weave added to it using the regular Armour Workbench. 4. Modding apparel at a workbench now uses the following categories: lining, outfit add-on, headgear, glove, eyewear, thermal optics booster, base carry weight, and carry weight modifier mods. These mods correspond to what items would actually use them. 5. Add some new apparel items to craft at the Armorsmith Workbench for both you and your companions, as well as some weapon items to the Weaponsmith Workbench, which allow the player to showcase their favorite firearm or blade while they travel. 6. All clothing is moddable and can be renamed at workbenches. 7. Nick Valentine can now wear any vanilla clothing. 8. In addition to the items that can be created at the Armorsmith Workbench, Strong or any other super mutant followers or settlers can now wear nearly all headgear items. One thing to keep in mind when trying on new outfits is that the items are layered on top of each other, and therefore you may run into some small clipping issues, but we find that they are very easy to overlook. This mod allows for much more immersive outfit choices to suit any survival scenario in the wasteland, and we applaud Gambit77 for his fantastic work with Armorsmith Extended. Fully compatible with AWKCR and crafting workbenches, Gloves of the Commonwealth by Fading Signal adds 16 pairs of equipable gloves which were pulled straight from other default outfits. These can be crafted using the Armorsmith Workbench and can be worn with any outfit that does not already have gloves as a part of it, such as suits or road leathers. While there are some limitations, Fading Signal has plans to work most of them out in future updates of the mod, so stay tuned for those to be released. In the meantime though, this mod is perfect for helping you keep your trigger finger warm while you wear any outfit you like, and this freedom of choice is exactly why we included it in our load order. Commonwealth Survivalist Gear by Tookie Jones introduces several new apparel items into the game, which are all craftable at the Armorsmith Workbench. Important to note here is that Commonwealth Survivalist Gear requires AWKCR in order to function. The new items range from full outfits in a variety of colors to single apparel pieces like a ball cap and armor parts. We chose this mod because its style really seems practical for a wanderer or scavenger on the move across the bombed out terrain of the Commonwealth. While crafting the items from scratch works just fine, we would prefer it if Fallon's Basement could also pick up these designs and sell them in the store. Perhaps Tookie Jones will include this in a future update. Nonetheless, this mod is fantastic for adding some immersive style choices, and we are excited to try these out in our playthrough. Smokeable Cigars, Cigarettes, and Joints by Flipdeezy is the perfect complement to his other mod, Have a Beer, which we covered previously. As you might have guessed by the title, this excellent piece of work provides custom animations for smoking a cigar, a cigarette, or a joint, a newly added item which can be crafted at a chemistry station under the drug category. Cigars and cigarettes cannot be crafted, but they can be picked up out in the Commonwealth during your travels. Opening a pack will yield varying amounts of cigarettes. Each item provides its own set of stat boosts, however using each one comes with a possible chance of forming an addiction to nicotine. Another bonus feature is an auto-save function that occurs whenever you light up one of these items. Fortunately, this option and others can be adjusted using the settings holotape that can be crafted at a chemistry station. These animations look fantastic, however our only complaint is that none are provided for sitting in a chair or stool, but hopefully this will be added in a future update. Great work again by Flipdeezy for providing some stogies to go with our ice-cold beer. Wearable Backpacks and Pouches by Aldebaran90 and Stndmunki introduces extremely useful clothing accessories and the designs for them into the Commonwealth. Now, backpacks and pouches can be bought from clothing merchants, plucked off of raiders or troublesome scavengers, or even crafted at the newly added Backpack Workbench. However, if you are using Armorsmith Extended like we are, the patch for it is provided as an optional file from the Wearable Backpacks and Pouches mod page. This removes the Backpack Workbench and makes the items craftable through the Armorsmith bench, which helps to consolidate the crafting process. The items can be found under the Accessories, Backpacks, and Accessories MFD tabs of the Armorsmith menu. These newly added items are the Traveler's Backpack, the Venturer's Backpack, the Wanderer's Backpack, the Mercenary's Belt, the Adventurer's Bandolier, and the Survivor's Vest. You'll notice the numbers 54, 55, 56, and 57, which appear next to the names of the items. These numbers refer to the inventory slot the items use, which is used for compatibility purposes and has no effect on the item that is created, meaning that Venturer's Backpack 54 and Venturer's Backpack 56 will both look the same and equip in the same place, but they will use a different inventory slot to do so. Once you've purchased, stolen, looted, or crafted one of the backpacks or pouches, you can modify aspects of it at the default Armour Workbench. You can adjust purely aesthetic things such as whether or not the pouches are displayed on the straps of the vest and the color of some of the items, but perhaps most importantly, you can adjust the carry weight boost offered by the item. Without any mods attached to it, each item provides 0 additional carry capacity, but using the standard Armour Workbench you can add boosts ranging from 5 pounds to 200 pounds depending on the item. Crafting these upgrades as well as the items themselves depends on the armorer's skill, so more carry weight capacity requires more skill and more materials. Great work by these two authors on adding in some much needed equipment for any wasteland wanderer. In the vanilla game, using the weapon workbench to simply remove the scope off of your hunting rifle requires spare parts unless you already have the standard sights mod in your inventory, when in reality, all it takes is a screwdriver to remove the scope. Similarly, removing a suppressor on a pistol or a rifle also requires spare parts, but again in reality you can literally unscrew the suppressor with just your hand. Free Weapon Downgrades by Lapdragon addresses these issues by making the standard category of any weapon mod free to create, meaning that changing from a scoped rifle to a standard sights version does not require any additional materials to do so. There are many options to choose from when activating this with Nexus Mod Manager, but we chose the stubby, no-profit DLC version, which adds support for DLC weapons and also makes converting from a long barrel to a sawed-off or shortened barrel free, because in reality, that can be accomplished with just a handsaw, no spare parts needed. This option also changes the value of the standard mod crate to 0, so that when you downgrade to a standard weapon mod, you are not given the standard mod crate which has value and can be sold, but instead, the standard mod crate is now worthless, thus maintaining a balance. An important note to mention here is that this mod currently only supports vanilla weapons and only works when changing to the standard version of the attachment. For example, the calibrated powerful receiver for the assault rifle has much better stats than just the powerful receiver. Therefore, converting from the calibrated powerful receiver to just the powerful receiver would technically be a downgrade, but it will still require spare parts because only going from the calibrated powerful receiver to the standard receiver will now be free to do with Lapdragon's mod. Great work by this author, and we are excited to be able to take off our suppressor without needing spare adhesive or screws for some reason. In many of the settled areas of the Commonwealth, you will encounter people doing their part to clean up their homes or store. However, in nearly all of these cases, the entire place is surrounded in ugly, low-resolution garbage piles or scraps laying on the floor. Remove Ugly Flat Trash by Inawe introduces actual results for the efforts of all the people you see sweeping. With this mod, the Hotel Rexford will actually look like it has a maid, and the shop owners of Diamond City will not have the contents of their entire trash cans spilled out for their customers to walk over. The author simply removed the textures for all 2-dimensional trash objects, but we also installed an optional file to remove some textures for 3-dimensional trash piles provided that they don't have collision, meaning that only trash piles that people can walk through and not on top of have been removed. The result of this mod is much cleaner parts of certain types of places like the Hotel Rexford and Goodneighbor and the merchant stalls of Diamond City, but overall the effects won't be noticed elsewhere. Great work by Inawe, and we are thankful we no longer have to smell all of Myrna's garbage while we shop for spare parts. Perhaps the most intricate and exciting mod in our show today, we have Disguises-Multifaction Hostile Infiltration mod by Syngrith and Rosicca. Now, using the Disguises workbench found in the Settlement Building menu, you are able to craft disguises for smaller groups like the Gunners, Raiders, the Children of Adam, and the Triggermen. You can also create disguises for the major factions, the Institute, the Railroad, and the Brotherhood of Steel. But first, you must set yourself as an enemy of that faction. For all of the disguises, you can craft them either from raw materials or by having the appropriate item itself. You can also craft items to repel bugs and Commonwealth robots. Bug repellent can be used as either an equipped clothing item or a miscellaneous item that activates when it is placed in your inventory. The distortion signal emitter makes you basically invisible to otherwise hostile robots, assuming you have the right expertise to operate the miscellaneous item once it is in your inventory. For all of the disguise items, some perk requirements must be met before they will work. You will be informed about the status of your disguise through notification messages. However, you can use the settings holotape, which is also created at the Disguises Workbench, to turn off the notifications for more immersion, which we of course have decided to do. You can also label yourself as an enemy of a major faction, and thus unlock the disguises for them. You can also turn perk requirements on or off, and again, we have left these on for more immersion. Generally speaking, the more disguise items for a particular faction you are wearing, and the more relevant perks you have, you will be more likely to succeed at blending in. If you remove your disguise while detected by the hostile faction, they will immediately begin to attack. Simply re-equipping the disguise will not solve the problem. In order to become redisguised, you must flee combat and become hidden, then put your disguise back on to again move about freely. One current downside to this mod is that while disguised, you are able to do anything to the faction without alerting them. You can kill, steal, and punch in plain view of other members without provoking them. However, the authors plan to include faction responses to actions and other factions responding to the disguises in later updates. But for now, the Disguises mod is best used as a stealthy intrusion technique while minimizing interactions with the actual faction members. This amazing mod is great for including some immersive stealth elements that were present in New Vegas, but unfortunately absent from the Commonwealth. Ladies and gentlemen, that will conclude our show for today. We hope you have enjoyed and will consider adding some of these items to your game. Please remember that we appreciate any constructive feedback in the comments, and as always, thanks for watching, and remember to leave an endorsement for any mod that you download and enjoy.